Let me ask you something straight up. Have you ever met someone who left a mark on you so deep, so distinct, that no matter how much time passed, they were always there somewhere in the back of your mind? For most men, that person is often a woman who did 3 specific things that made her unforgettable. And here's the twist. She's not always the youngest, most beautiful, or even the most available woman he dated. Often she's an older woman, a woman who understood herself, didn't play games, and knew exactly how to connect on a deeper level. So what are these 3 things older women do that make a man remember them forever, even years after it's over? Stick around, because once you understand this, you won't waste time on the wrong stuff. You'll focus on what truly matters in leaving a lasting impact. She made him feel seen in a way no one else did. In today's dating culture, a lot of men move through relationships feeling unseen, not because they don't talk, but because they don't feel understood. Surface-level praise, physical attraction, or even long talks can miss the mark if the emotional radar isn't tuned in. Now here's where older women have the edge, and studies back this up. According to a 2020 research paper in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, men in their 30s and 40s often reported feeling most emotionally validated in relationships with older partners. Why? Because older women didn't just listen, they listened to understand, not to respond. There's a story of a man named Rai, 42, who shared in a relationship forum how he couldn't forget a woman 12 years older than him. Why? She was the first person who asked him how he felt about his father's death and stayed quiet long enough to actually hear the real answer. No one else had ever done that. She didn't rush to fix him. She didn't distract him. She saw him fully. When an older woman is emotionally present, she creates a space for authenticity. She's not there to judge or to impress. She just is. And that presence, that level of being, seen, is something a man never forgets. It's rare. It's powerful, and it's why she stays in his mind even when others fade. She never tried to control or manage him. Men, especially those who've been in controlling or critical relationships, tend to build emotional walls. They become defensive or worse, emotionally unavailable, and sometimes without realizing it, partners contribute to that. Constant advice-giving, you shoulds, or emotional micromanagement can feel more like parenting than partnership. Now, older women, at least the grounded ones, don't fall into that trap. And here's why. They've been through enough relationships to know one thing: you can't change a man. You can only support him while he changes himself. A behavioral case study conducted by Stanford University's Interpersonal Behavior Lab found that men who described their most freeing and memorable relationships often mentioned one key trait: the woman let them be themselves without pressure to perform or conform. One man shared how he dated an older woman in his late 20s who never tried to correct his choices even when they clashed with hers. Instead, she asked questions, reflected back what she heard, and let him reach his own conclusions. Years later, he said, "That relationship taught me how to grow without feeling controlled. I still think about her when I make decisions." The older woman, he remembers, didn't try to mold him. She didn't critique his every move. She led by example and stayed steady in her own boundaries, giving him the freedom to meet her there. That kind of partnership sticks because it respects autonomy, and men don't forget that feeling of psychological freedom. She held standards without begging for commitment. One of the most common traps women fall into, regardless of age, is trying to earn a man's commitment. They overinvest, overgive, and slowly start bending their standards, hoping he'll step up. And when he doesn't, they either explode or silently resent him. But the older woman, he never forgets. She's different. She knows who she is, she knows what she wants, and most importantly, she doesn't chase what doesn't chase her. Case in point, in a longitudinal study of dating dynamics by the Kinsey Institute, researchers found that men were more likely to pursue and idealize women who had clear personal standards and didn't compromise them to gain male attention. They called this the respect attraction effect. When a woman respects herself enough to walk away from disrespect, it forces a man to think differently, even if he doesn't act on it right away. There's a story floating around online about a woman named Joanne, 50, who ended things with a man she loved deeply after he refused to commit after 2 years. She didn't yell, she didn't cry. She simply said, "I'm not mad, I just know what I need, and this isn't it." He didn't call her back for 6 months, but he still checks her Instagram 5 years later. Why? Because the woman who walks away calmly, with standards intact, leaves a wound of respect behind. You don't have to beg for love. You don't have to explain why you deserve more. When your actions speak, the message stays with him, and it haunts him in a good way. Why most women miss this? Here's the hard truth. Most women, especially when emotions run high, go into performance mode. They start adjusting themselves to get a reaction. They talk more, they give more, and they ask more. But none of that creates impact. It creates noise. And when the relationship ends or fades, they wonder why he moved on so easily, why he didn't even blink. It's because he didn't experience anything that forced him to slow down and reflect. The women who linger in a man's mind are the ones who didn't try so hard to be remembered. They just were memorable because they were grounded, clear, emotionally intelligent, and not willing to abandon themselves to be chosen. Do these 3 things to be unforgettable. Let's flip this. If you want to be the woman a man thinks about, in the middle of the night when he's alone, when things are quiet, do these 3 things. See him. Ask real questions. Stay present. Don't offer solutions. Offer space. Don't control. Hold your boundaries, but don't try to manage his growth. Trust that if he's meant for you, he'll meet you there. Keep your standards. If he's not showing up, don't explain why you deserve better. Show him by stepping away without drama, without begging. That kind of woman. She lives in his memory rent-free forever. Not because she was the one who got away, but because she was the one who showed up differently. If you're an older woman watching this, please hear me when I say this. Your power is not in what you give, it's in what you won't give away. Don't give away your peace, your identity, your boundaries, or your dignity. Because the woman who respects herself on a deep level doesn't have to fight to be remembered. She just is. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that more women need to hear this. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever been the woman he couldn't forget, or do you want to become her now? And don't forget to subscribe for more no-fluff, real-world relationship advice. No games, no gimmicks, just clarity backed by real insight. Until next time, stay grounded, stay real, and always stay in your power.